Hello and welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching India Today Global. The big story, meeting between Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu perhaps will see a better future carved out for the 20-point plan for displaced Palestinians. The plan proposed by the US and agreed by Netanyahu includes immediate stop to war and the release of remaining Israeli hostages by Hamas within 72 hours. What is to be seen is how far does the plan go? Here's a detailed report by Mahashweta Lala.
Are you confident, sir, there'll be peace in Gaza anytime soon?
It was a moment everyone was waiting for. The fourth meeting between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President Donald Trump finally paves the way for possible peace in Gaza. But how far will the plan go is to be seen. Trump and Netanyahu have agreed on a 20-point plan which proposes an immediate end to the fighting, the release of 20 living Israeli hostages, along with remains of those believed to have died. In exchange, hundreds of detained Gazans would be freed. Hamas will lay down its arms and have no role in governing Gaza. After both sides agree to the proposal, full aid will be immediately sent into the Gaza Strip and military operations will stop.
Well, this is a big day, a beautiful day, potentially one of the great days ever in civilization. Things that have been going on for hundreds of years and thousands of years, we're at a minimum very, very close, and I think we're beyond very close.
The 20-point plan states that Gaza would be governed by a technocratic, apolitical Palestinian committee with oversight by an international board of peace headed by Trump and also includes former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair and other leaders.
All our hostages, both those who are alive and those who died, all of them will return home immediately. Hamas will be disarmed. Gaza will be demilitarized. Israel will retain security responsibility, including a security perimeter for the foreseeable future.
Several countries had come together last week to recognize a Palestine state, but Netanyahu denied any agreement on two-state solution.
Absolutely not, and it's not written in the agreement either. But one thing we did say, we will strongly oppose a Palestinian state. And President Trump also said this. He said that he understands this, and he said it is obvious that this would be a huge reward for terror and a danger to the state of Israel. And of course, we won't agree to that.
Trump, while speaking to reporters after the meeting, said the plan also includes the Arab and Muslim countries who will contribute to demilitarizing Gaza and persuading Hamas to give up arms. Trump also said if Hamas did not accept the plan, he will give Israel full backing to do what it would have to do.
Under the plan, Arab and Muslim countries have committed, and in writing in many cases, but I actually would take their word for it. The people I mentioned, I'd take their word for it, to demilitarize Gaza, and that's quickly. Decommission the military capabilities of Hamas and all other terror organizations, do that immediately. And we're relying on the countries that I named and others to deal with Hamas. And I'm hearing that Hamas wants to get this done too, and that's a good thing.
There are mixed reactions on the proposal from civilians on both sides.
It looks like finally, we have a deal to end the war, the bloody war in Gaza, and bring all our people back home. This is very, very good news. President Trump, like he said, is totally committed to bringing peace and prosperity to this region, and this can only start with the ending of the war in Gaza and bringing back all our people.
The plan that they talked about yesterday abolishes the Palestinian state, which was recognized by many countries. And this is a new colonialism with a new approach and abolishes the capital of Palestine, Jerusalem. All the principles for the liberation of Palestine were cancelled yesterday. For me, this is a new colonialism.
India, along with other global leaders, welcomed Trump's plan for Gaza. The leaders praised Trump's efforts and leadership to end the war in Gaza. As hope for a new life knocks on the door of thousands of Gazans, the world hopes to see the end of a war that has ravaged the future of an entire generation. Mahashweta Lala, Bureau Report, India Today.
This is an India Today Global exclusive. We went where the global Smooth Flotilla is and spoke with Bashira Sumar, who is an activist aboard one of the boats in that flotilla, history's largest aid mission to Gaza. With 50 boats carrying humanitarian supplies, they're now entering the danger zone, facing imminent Israeli interception, network blackouts, and potential arrest. Here, why these brave activists refuse to turn back. You can watch the entire interview on India Today Global's YouTube channel. This is a mega India Today Global exclusive. With the global Smooth Flotilla, boats with humanitarian aid that are headed towards Gaza, with the boats now approaching Gaza, what's really going to happen? Will they be intercepted by the Israeli forces, and would there be arrests and detentions? There are activists, many of them on board, and I'm being joined by one of those activists from the flotilla that's moving towards and inching towards Gaza. Bashira Sumar, thank you so much for joining us here on India Today Global. This is a huge effort. You're part of the global Smooth Flotilla. First, describe your journey up until now and the difficulties you and all the others have faced up until now.
Hi, thank you for having me. So yes, I'm one of the organizers for the Global Smooth Flotilla, and we've been planning this for about 3 months now. It's been a lot to plan in such a short time frame. We have about 50 boats on water, and we had 3 to 4 different ports that boats were departing from. So it was very pressurized with a lot of challenges. You know, we had to train over 600 people in a couple of weeks to be prepared for this. It's the biggest ever flotilla mission that anyone has ever attempted. So it's been very challenging, very time pressured, but what we've managed in this short time frame is incredible, and we are now sailing about 50 boats of us together, and we're just outside of 200 nautical miles outside of Gaza.
Right. Bashira, can you just show us around? You're there on a boat. What does this entire flotilla look like? The boats and the people around, the waters. Just show us around. Let us take a look at the visuals.
So we are a little bit dispersed. The boats are a little bit dispersed, so you can see them in the distance. There's some sailing boats around. Some of the people on the boat. And there's some boats on the side as well.
Okay. This is a massive effort with a lot of aid. How did you all manage the logistics? How did you all manage putting all this aid together and organizing the flotilla with so many boats?
So we're actually a coalition of 3 different movements. It's a massive civilian-led movement. We are part of the global movement to Gaza. So actually went to the march in Cairo in June this year. And so we joined forces with both the Freedom Flotilla Coalition and the Smooth Convoy. There's been hundreds of us organizing together. In terms of aid, look, every boat carries some humanitarian aid on it, but the idea is to upload that aid onto the Gaza shore once we get there. But we know that aid is not enough, there's just some aid on 50 boats. It's not going to touch sides. What our main objective is to actually open up a permanent humanitarian corridor so that once we get to the shore, once we deliver aid, it allows other vessels to come in to deliver aid by sea. It allows the land border to open to deliver aid via land, and that's our main objective for doing this.
Finally, Bashira, are you all prepared for arrests, detentions, being taken and then being deported? Are you prepared for everything and anything that could happen to you should the interceptions happen and the Israeli forces then take you under arrest or detain you?
We have prepared for all scenarios. We have gone through the different likelihoods of how this will play out. We are all prepared. Everything we endure is nothing compared to what the Palestinians endure, and so we are willing to take those risks.
On that note, Bashira Sumar, thank you so much for joining us here on India Today Global. We are wishing and hoping that the aid reaches the people of Gaza because they badly, badly need it, and hoping that you, all of you, complete your mission and go home safely. Thank you. President Trump has not only tried to broker ceasefire in Gaza, but in it is the plan for the Arab world to normalize ties with Israel. Can this deal extend to the Persian Gulf? Trump wants Iran in the Abraham Accord. Is that even possible? We explain in Statecraft. Watch an excerpt from the show, which is available on India Today Global's YouTube channel. Donald Trump has never been shy about big, bold statements. But his latest idea has been a little out of the box, even for Trump. He wants Iran to join the Abraham Accords and make peace with Israel.
And who knows, maybe even Iran can get in there. I hope, we hope we're going to be able to get along with Iran. I think they're going to be open to it. I really believe that.
Yes, you heard that right. The very nation that calls Israel the little Satan could, under Trump's vision, sit at the same table, sign the same papers, and shake the same hands that once sealed peace deals between Israel and the UAE, Bahrain, and Morocco. It's an audacious pitch, dropped in the middle of Gaza's agony and after years of Israeli-Iranian proxy wars. But can a country whose founding ideology is rooted in death to Israel really become its friend? Or is Trump selling a fantasy too wild to ever materialize? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. The Abraham Accords, launched in 2020, were built on a simple logic: unite Israel and Sunni Arab states against Iran's rising power. They were never meant to include Tehran. In fact, Iran was the very reason behind the Accords, the common enemy, the threat that forced Arab capitals and Tel Aviv into alignment. Tehran denounced them as betrayal, branded the signatories traitors, and doubled down on proxy wars from Lebanon to Yemen. And yet, Trump now floats the unthinkable, inviting Iran into a club designed to isolate it. Can decades of hostility, ideology, and bloodshed be erased by one deal? The Abraham Accords were Trump's signature diplomatic trophy in 2020. Israel got what it craved most: recognition, legitimacy, and normalization. The UAE and Bahrain broke ranks with decades of Arab consensus, signing deals in Washington with much fanfare. From day one, Tehran spat fire at the Accords. To Iran, the signatories were traitors selling out Palestinians. To Revolutionary Guards, it was proof of Zionist manipulation. Threats flew, warnings echoed, and proxy groups were armed with more resolve. The Accords were a cage built around Iran, Sunni Arabs, Israel, and the US, locking arms to counter the so-called axis of resistance. For Israel, it was security in numbers. For Iran, it was betrayal upon betrayal. The entire arrangement thrived on keeping Tehran outside the circle, which makes Trump's new pitch to invite Iran inside not just shocking, but almost heretical. Trump's gamble is that spectacle can override history. The question is, can even Trump bend this much hostility into a handshake? For Iran to join the Abraham Accords, three mountains would have to move. First, ideology. Tehran would have to silence the chants of death to Israel that echo every Friday. Second, the Revolutionary Guard Corps. These power brokers thrive on anti-Israel militancy. They'd lose purpose and profit if peace replaced proxy war. Third, the nuclear issue. Israel won't shake hands while Iran enriches uranium. That means inspections, limits, maybe even dismantling key facilities. Add to that public opinion. Millions of Iranians taught for decades that Israel is their sworn enemy. The political risk is enormous. Could any Iranian leader survive that gamble? The deal between Trump and Xi on TikTok is more than what meets the eye. The several rounds of meetings between Chinese and American officials, which ultimately saw both the parties reach a consensus, has a caveat. According to Wall Street Journal, in return for clearing the sale of TikTok's U.S. operations, Xi appears to be pushing Trump to not support the independence of Taiwan. And WSJ report suggests that Trump could be just granting a wish to Xi. Trump has cancelled military aid worth $400 million to Taiwan. The U.S. has further weakened the security partnership in the region and reduced its strategic importance in the Indo-Pacific, thus leaving Taiwan vulnerable to Chinese aggression. China considers Taiwan a breakaway province, and President Xi Jinping has reiterated his commitment to unify Taiwan with the mainland forcefully if required. According to U.S. intelligence community, Xi plans to invade Taiwan by 2027. U.S. President Donald Trump recently shared a now-deleted video on his Truth Social account promoting a so-called miracle machine called MedBeds. But what are these MedBeds and why are they being discussed online? Let's break it down. Watch this report by Jyoti Shukla.
US President Donald Trump is once again at the center of controversy. This time, not over politics, but over a so-called miracle machine called the MedBed. Over the weekend, his Truth Social account posted an AI-generated video promoting these futuristic beds that conspiracy theorists believe can cure any disease. By the next morning, the clip was quietly deleted.
Donald J. Trump has announced a historic new healthcare system, the launch of America's first MedBed hospitals and a national MedBed card for every citizen.
Every American will soon receive their own MedBed card. With it, you'll have guaranteed access to our new hospitals led by the top doctors in the nation, equipped with the most advanced technology in the world. These facilities are safe, modern, and designed to restore every citizen to full health and strength. This is the beginning of a new era in American healthcare.
In this first phase, only a limited number of MedBed cards will be released. Registration details will be announced very soon.
The video looked like a Fox News broadcast hosted by Trump's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump. But it was fake. The AI version of Lara declared that America's first MedBed hospitals had launched, complete with national MedBed cards for every citizen. The video even showed a fabricated Trump promising that these facilities would restore every American to full health and strength. To add drama, it claimed that only a limited number of cards would be released in the first phase. But what exactly are MedBeds? The conspiracy theory suggests that governments and militaries are secretly hiding healing machines. Believers say they can reverse aging, cure deadly diseases, and even regrow limbs. Some insist they use futuristic technology like quantum energy or terahertz light. Others go a step further, claiming the machines are of alien origin. Supporters argue that big pharma and global elites already use them, but keep them hidden to protect profits. The theory first spread in QAnon circles and has since flooded Facebook groups. Some groups even charge hundreds of dollars for so-called insider access. Others sell MedBed cards or even build fake machines claiming they boost health. In reality, there is no scientific evidence that MedBeds exist. Companies cashing in on the hype, like Tesla Biohealing, have been warned by US regulators for unproven medical claims. Their devices, some costing over $11,000, are now marketed as general wellness tools rather than cures. Despite this, the myth endures. One version even claims that John F. Kennedy Jr., who died in 1999, is alive today thanks to MedBeds. Experts call it pure pseudoscience. As one disinformation analyst put it, it's hard to define something that doesn't exist. For now, MedBeds remain a viral fantasy, a blend of false hope, internet conspiracy, and profit. With Jyoti Shukla, Bureau Report, India Today Global.
Google's YouTube has agreed to pay $24.5 million to settle a lawsuit by President Donald Trump over his 2021 account suspension following the 6th January 2021 attack on U.S. Capitol. Google is the latest big tech company to settle lawsuits with Trump. In January, Meta Platforms agreed to pay $25 million to settle a lawsuit over his 2021 suspension from Facebook. Elon Musk's X agreed to settle a similar lawsuit brought against the company then known as Twitter for $10 million. The disclosure of the settlement came a week before a scheduled October 6th court hearing to discuss the case with U.S. District Judge in Oakland, California. A statue of Mahatma Gandhi in London's Tavistock Square was defaced days before Gandhi Jayanti celebrations, scheduled to take place at the site on the 2nd of October. The High Commission of India has strongly condemned the incident, calling it a shameful act and an assault on the legacy of non-violence. In a post on X, the Indian mission said the desecration was reported to local authorities as officials were on site to coordinate the restoration of the monument to its original state. The bronze statue was sculpted and unveiled in 1968 at the square. And with that, it's a close of this edition of India Today Global. But before that, I'll leave you with this. From glamour on the runway to stars making bold style statements, Paris Fashion Week has once again set the global stage on fire. Let's take a look at the dazzling highlights of day one. Goodbye and take care.
Newest collections, endless events, and our favorite stars lighting up the ramp. Yes, the Paris Fashion Week has officially begun. On day one, L'Oreal presented its loyalists, and amongst the best of the best were Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, Kendall Jenner, Simone Ashley, and many more supermodels who stole the show with their effortless walks and epic looks. The grand showcase held at the historic Paris backdrop drew global attention as fashion and cinema icons came together. When Ash walks, everyone is bound to take note. The Desi star ditched her usual Western ensemble and walked the runway in a full sparkly black sherwani, celebrating Indian heritage with her all-time favorite designer Manish Malhotra. With intricate embroidery and a modern silhouette, she redefined the Indian sherwani into a masterpiece, balancing softness and power at the same time. While Aishwarya brought her Desi look, Kendall Jenner opened the show in a stunning sheer white gown that embodied both femininity and strength. The gown, designed with a plunging neckline and a daring thigh-high slit, gave a dramatic edge to the evening. The supermodel completed her look with minimal jewelry and soft makeup, keeping the focus on the couture. Many more supermodels added sparkle to the night with their dazzling appearances, including Simone Ashley in a striking gold fringe dress, Eva Longoria in a structured corset top, and Andy McDowell in an elegant satin blazer, proving that timeless glamour never fades. As Paris Fashion Week kicks off, fan frenzy is now hitting a fever pitch. With Sujata Sharda, Bureau Report, India Today.